You are watching Vault Business Podcast, the leader in business information and great content for you to watch. Today is a special day. This is why I love doing podcasts, because today we have somebody that's been in the industry for a very, very long time. He's a good friend of mine. He's been around since the 2000s. I'm going to welcome a good friend of mine, Al Gonzalez. Thank you for coming up.
Thanks, brother. Good beers. I appreciate the invite and hanging out with you today.
Yeah.
Made me feel like a dinosaur right now. Very, very long time.
Yeah. No, you know what? I think the first time that I heard of you, Al, was like in the 2000s, man. Like, not to put age on you, but it was in the 2000s. What were you doing in the 2000s, man?
No, it's all good. I get it. I think back then I was doing wholesale of mortgages. I worked for a wholesale mortgage company out of, I could just say the name, Long Beach Mortgage.
Okay.
And I worked with a gentleman here in Madera. You probably know who he is, Manuel Navarez.
Absolutely, yeah.
So me and Manuel was my mentor back then. And when I started, he kind of showed me the ropes.
Yeah.
Back in 2001.
Yeah, so that's exactly the first time that I actually, heard of you. You were coming into offices, because back in the day, well, we were doing mortgages. Like, we had these wholesale reps coming in. We would call them account executive, yep. And they would come in, and if we had a mortgage that was maybe out of the ordinary, they would come in and show us, hey, this is how you can make this mortgage work. And that was the actual first time that I had met you. Was during that time. You walked into an office that I was working at, yep. And we kind of collabed at that time, not knowing that in the future we were going to work together. And it seems like that's how this industry is, right?
Yeah, it's very small in a sense, but we're big because of Central Valley, and you cross a lot of paths. And I'm very fortunate to go down that path, because I do cross paths with individuals like you, and it pays off later on in your career as you progress and you collaborate and do things together, which we did.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Right.
So then years later, we actually connect. We worked for the same company. There were some corporate meetings that were happening in Sacramento. And we just kind of talked to each other then. And we were like, hey, we know each other from the industry. So it was cool because we had that already that general idea of each other. And it was actually pretty cool because I don't know if you remember this. We go to these corporate meetings, and I think it was during baseball season. And if you guys don't know this, Al is a huge baseball fan. So you are a Dodger fan, right?
Yeah.
So that I was like, wow, this guy really loves the Dodgers, man. So I think that they were in the playoffs, right?
They were in the playoffs at the time, yeah. Well, they're always in the playoffs. It's the Dodgers.
Oh, okay. Well, they're always in the playoffs. I got it. So I want to say, and I could be wrong, I want to say maybe it was in 2017.
Somewhere around there.
Right around there?
Yeah, right around there.
Yeah, so crazy thing is that, Al's like, hey, we're going to go out tonight. The baseball game's on. I don't remember if it was like the actual World Series or maybe they were just in the playoffs. But you're like, hey, we're going to go to Dave & Buster's. Crazy thing. I had never gone to Dave & Buster's, man. So you were the first one to take me to Dave & Buster's, man.
Dave & Buster's, I popped your cherry. Yeah.
Hey,
man.
You know what, brother? You did. And I just want to tell you guys, Al, having a good time. The Dodgers are winning. We had some appetizers. Great night, man.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good.
But the next day we had to wake up, man. We had to wake up for another corporate meeting. And I was just like, oh my Lord, I got to go do this right now. Do you remember that?
Yep. We're doing those high level conversations in the boardroom there, or in the conference room.
Yeah.
And it was a long day. It was a long week, actually.
Yeah, it was a long week. Yeah. Because you still have to drive back.
You got to drive back, and you have all these plans, you have to lay out for your team and for your offices, and it was just it was a good time.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
It was a good time. So we reconnect. You're somebody that I've always respected in the mortgage industry. I think a lot of people, you go back and forth, and you have people that you're a friendly competition in mortgage, but I've never seen you as a competition. I've seen you as, hey, somebody that's at the same level, and we kick ideas around on each other, and we learn from each other. Would you agree?
I agree. Do you ever? Well, you mismentioned I'm a baseball fan. And if you look at baseball players, just athletes in general, big NFL, Major League Baseball, even soccer, and you see the stars and then you see the players, if you ever see them off the field or even on the field before or after a game, they're buddies.
Yeah.
They all hang out together. Yeah. They all go have drinks together. If you follow their social medias, you'll see their families hang out together. So our industry being what it is, real estate and finance, there's a lot of superstars, right? And there's a lot, and then you have your players that play the game. and then you have your rookies that are coming up.
Right.
But we all collaborate, we all talk at the end of the day, we all hang out together, we all do our thing. So I like to assimilate it the same way as that's what it is. You know, you have your star players and you have your rookies and you have your middle grade players, but everybody talks the same language, and you can go have drinks, and at the end of the day you go back to your team and you do your job, and on the weekends you hang out. That's kind of how I've always seen this industry.
Right. It's funny that you say that, Al, because I remember there was a client that came to me and they're like, hey, you guys all hang out with real estate agents, you guys hang out with other, mortgage loan officers, even if they're not in the same company that you are. And I told them, yeah, like we all kind of hang out, we all know of each other. We understand that, this is a mortgage business, but we have families, we have families that we go home to. So even though, we're working all day and we collab with people and we talk to people, you still have a family that you go home to. Would you say that this business has been a great deal, something great for you and your family? Or how do you see it, man?
You're gonna make me tear up. You know what? This business, I got into it, and it's a weird story. Everybody has a backstory, but I won't go into that. But when I got in the business in 99, 2000, I was working for a broker shop, and I had 3 small children. My older kids are older now. They're all grown adults, and I'm very proud of what they do. But they were young then. So yeah, and I was single. I was divorced and going through a divorce, and this industry was actually like my girlfriend at the time, because that's all I had.
Right.
So all of my blood, sweat, and tears went into this industry at the time. So that's why I've never really gotten out of the industry, even though there's a lot of ups and downs and the cycles that we go through. I've gotten used to it now. I have very thick skin when it comes to that. But at the time, when you're naive and young and you don't understand what's going on, and then going through what we went through in 2008, you see things differently now.
Yeah.
Way different. But back then, yeah, this fed my family for 20 years now plus. So I don't really see myself doing anything else other than maybe another business in the industry or in another state or nationwide is kind of what I'm looking at these days.
It definitely is a love and hate, man. Like, I got in this business in late 2003, and we had a good run. And I want to say, during 07, 08, probably the best time of my whole life, right? Like, I learned to be scrappy during that time. I had a family myself. And, it was tough. It was tough. Like, there was no money in this industry, but, even though I had family telling me, hey, you need to get out of this, you need to go work doing something else, to me, it was a love of helping somebody, get into a home. And on the flip side, like, this industry is a fun industry, man. Would you agree?
Oh man, it's a lot of fun. It's all fun. That's what you make it. But yeah, it's definitely fun.
Yeah.
I get some of the best memories I have are in this industry. A lot of good ones outside of the industry, military, high school, young adult life. But getting into this industry at 25, I'm 48 now. Yeah, it's all the good times that I've had are because of this industry and what it's done for myself and my family.
Wow. Hey, brother, I just want to tell you, you don't look 48. You look great. You look great. I
appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, me, a grown man in my 40s as well. It's something that I think that's in your blood. Like once we talked about this, years ago. Once it bites you and it's in your blood, like I feel like it's always gonna be there for you, man. And for me, that's what it's been. It's like I love the challenge of everyday business owning and helping people with mortgages, because right now, we've had such a great run during the COVID era, and now we've had a little bit of a slowdown, but I start seeing that things are coming back. Would you agree?
1000%. I was just listening to a podcast on the way over here that I listened to, not a podcast, a news channel, and they were just saying that the housing market is slowly recovering, and that's where we're at. We're in this recovery phase. And I don't know if you've ever been injured, played sports. An injury, it happens.
Yeah.
Break a leg, it snaps. They put a cast on it, and it takes 6 to 8 weeks for it to heal, right?
Yeah.
That's just like our industry. It broke, or whatever it did, and they put a cast on it, and now it's recovering.
Yeah.
And then once it recovers, what do you do after you recover in sports? You hit the field.
Yep.
And you're back at it, and you're winning championships, or you're playing games, and it's that I compare everything to sports in my world. I don't know if you know my analogies, right? So, because they go together, and that's how I kind of see things in my world. Is that's what happened, and that's where we're at, and we're in that recovery phase. And once we get out of it in a few months or whatever it's going to be, then we're off to the races again. It's going to be interesting.
Right. You know what I would say is I think that this time around I was more equipped than I was the first time. Like I knew that I was battle tested because of 07, 08. That this time around I have so much belief in myself and so much believe in the team that I built and at home as well, that it really didn't hit me as hard as last time. Do you see it the same way?
Thick skin, brother. You got thick skin.
Yeah.
You've arrived, basically.
Yeah.
Giannis, during the playoffs recently, in this, Milwaukee lost. And I follow them a lot because I'm a big sports fan. And they asked him, they said, hey, they're giving him crap about losing. And he just looked at them like, you guys don't get it. Like, we're a team. We're building. We're not going to win championships every year we want to, but you're just not. You're not going to win every game. It's every year they're building. He's practicing. Our industry, same thing. We practice every day. We show up to the office every day. That's practice, right?
Yep.
Then you close a deal. That's a championship. You recruit somebody, you see them grow, and they start closing deals, and then the whole team grows, and the whole team's closing deals. Now you're winning championships. Now you're winning World Series. Now everybody's making money.
It was a great analogy what Giannis put out.
He did.
Like he got a mixed bag, right? Some people were like, hey, you were supposed to win, and other people were like, dude, what a great analogy about life in general. Like, you're not gonna win every day. You just wake up and you go play every single day. So I think a lot of it, in business and in life, you have to be battle tested and have that thick skin that you're talking about to wake up every single day and just say, hey, I'm going to go do it regardless of the outcome.
Yeah.
You have to wake up.
Yeah. And there's days we don't want to, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Days we don't want to wake up. My wife and I just celebrated our 4th anniversary. We were in Cancun for the week, and we got back on Tuesday, and Wednesday was brutal.
Yeah.
Catching up on a Wednesday. We always have a Wednesday meeting. The nanny calls in, it was just one of those days, and my wife's carrying Ava to work, and I'm coming in right behind her, and the phone's ringing, emails are coming in. It was brutal. And yesterday we were tired too, so today we're trying to catch up. I didn't work out today.
Yeah.
I knew I had this to come to, so I got to the office early, did a couple things. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go back to the office, and maybe I'll catch a workout tonight. If not, I'll just get back on my routine over the weekend.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, because I knew you had gone on vacation, and I was gonna call you, and I'm like, dude, this guy's gonna be so busy. I ain't even gonna call him.
No, it tamed down a little bit yesterday, so we're happy with that. My wife is at the office holding down the fort, and we have an assistant there, so
that's awesome.
It's really good, man. Appreciate the invite.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you, Al, like the way I see things right now, playing out, and I'm a big Barry Habib fan, and I don't know if you are. He has a mixed bag as well. But what I would tell you is that I do love the positiveness about him, and I start seeing that the market is recovering. And just like he says, housing goes into recession first, then the economy goes into recession. Do you feel that we are headed into a recession?
I feel we've been in a recession. Honestly, my opinion. That's just my opinion. People can disagree, whatever. I feel we've been in a recession. Certain parts of the economy have been in a recession. So, outside of what the headlines say, this is just what it is. Do I think there's more coming? Absolutely. We have some economic headwinds headed our way that are going to get pretty scary and ugly. But, as anything, I truly believe the housing market's going to carry us through it like it always does. The headline rate right now, 6.5% with the headline rate. People can still buy down in the 5s and get a good rate. And I think they're staying in this range for that reason, is they don't want things to get too out of control. If they do get over 7% again, you and I both know what that looks like. It's a little ugly for a couple months. But if we could stay in this range for the rest of the year, or maybe even a pause in June with the Fed's meeting, mid-June, whenever they're meeting, and they pivot sometime between July and September, October, we could see things get really interesting in November, December, the winter months. And we're headed into an election year,
right?
Which changes things. So
huge implications that are happening because it's an election year. Now, I do remember during the Obama era, I want to say that I worked at Chase Bank during that time. And, they had this issue before of balancing the budget. Mm-hmm. And I want to say they got to the last minute, or maybe even over the last minute, and they finally balanced this budget.
Yeah.
Do you see both sides getting together and balancing this budget this time, or how do you see it?
I do. There's two sides of that question. I do see them doing it. They're going to do it at the last minute. I don't know if you remember when this happened the last time in 08. Was it 08? When somewhere 08 or 14, whatever it was. The market was very volatile moving up to that point. Things were just getting out of control. In certain parts of the market, we're getting pretty like, oh shoot, what's going to happen? And it's like they do this. I don't know if they do it on purpose or what's behind it, but yeah, they're going to do it all the way to the last minute.
It feels like sometimes it's on purpose.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it has to get to the last the last minute to do this, but it does put everybody on edge. The market's on edge because of this, balancing the budget. But in my opinion, I do feel that they'll balance the budget. It seems like they always do. And I always equate it to the fact that, look, everybody has to get paid, and the government gets paid, and they balance the budget, and we keep moving forward. Hopefully nothing breaks along that way. We always worry about that. I know we've had some bank failures here in the last couple months. Do you see big implications of credit channels tightening up? I know that it's happened in the mortgage industry before.
Yeah.
When banks start tightening up, like the market contracts, and we have the issue of liquidity for buyers to come in and acquire money. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it on the residential side. Regional banks typically are known to do construction, commercial and high-end loans, high-end jumbos. Those loans are going to feel it. That side of it's going to feel it. The residential side, our business, I don't think will feel the credit tightening as much unless it gets really ugly. If anything, I think our channel will do what it needs to do to help carry the load. Back in the day, it was funny, I was having a conversation with another partner a couple weeks ago, and I told him, remember when we were the bad guys at the last recession or depression, whatever it was, the mortgage industry, like you couldn't even say you were doing loans because they're like, oh, it's your fault.
Right.
Now they're going to look to us to be like the saving grace. Like the housing industry is going to carry us through this next phase. And I think that's my opinion of what's going to happen.
I believe that. I think that the last time we went through this, I remember going to a party, and I was telling them, hey, you know what? I'm a mortgage loan officer, and it was almost like, oh my gosh, people like fleshly.
And I remember looking for a job back then. That's why I don't think I got out, because I couldn't even find a new type of industry to get into, because you were kind of plagued.
Yeah,
kind of blackballed.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, we're okay. We filled the position. Like you came in second. Like yeah, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? I'm starting to see refinance come back. We're looking at these reports come out, and we're seeing that a lot of people are using their credit cards. A lot of people are using credit again. And these are the same people that have equity in their property or that are going to be refinancing. And yeah, maybe some people do have a 3% rate, and they, now have a credit card at 18, 19%. And the smart thing to do, Al, is of course to refinance into a 5.5%, like you're saying, buying the rate down, and getting rid of this debt. Would you agree?
I completely agree. Credit card debt is at an all-time high. It hasn't been higher than it is now. So, which gives an indication that there could be some refinancing coming. The other side of that argument, and I'm very both sides of the I want to look at both sides of the aisle on these issues. Is there's a thing where you're saying, okay, we've had 1.5 to 2 years of people buying homes at this level, these rates, and we still have those guys and gals that are in the 2-3% range on their rates. Even if they're going to refinance, what does that next refi boom really look like? Does it look like it did back in 2005 when everybody was refinancing multiple times? Because what Fannie and Freddie did, they put that 1 year you have to be on title, do the cash out. So these little things that came out recently that are kind of, is that going to stop us? Is that going to hinder us? The VA IRRRL is a good one, but you got to wait 6 months. Don't need an appraisal. So you got the FHA streamline, but you still got to wait. So there's little waiting periods, which everybody's probably going to be out of by then, but it's still, how much are people going to refinance, or who's going to refinance during this? And I think you're right. It's going to be that guy that has that high interest debt. Credit cards are maxed out, but what's his credit score going to look like? What kind of loan are we going to have to put him in? So just all these caveats to what we're discussing right now, these high level conversations that we have every day in our office, I'm having every day with consumers on the phone. So just educating us and ourselves and them on what's the next move for you and how does this look?
Right. So. Now, I know that we talk about it here at the office, and this is something that's been controversial. When I talk about it, a lot of the regulations right now, Al, that were rolled out in 2008 during the SAFE Act have not been rolled back, right? So we know that Obama came out and, rolled out, foreclosure and helping people stay out of foreclosure. But at the same time, these regulations that have not been rolled back has not helped our market right now, because you do not have any foreclosures. And, it's not popular to say that you want foreclosures, and I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that it's part of a healthy market to have foreclosure.
Absolutely.
Are you starting to see a foreclosure uptick, or are we still having the same problems as we've had forever?
No, there's no uptick at all. I think I just saw a report yesterday, it actually went down.
Went down. Yeah.
It went down. Foreclosures had went down for this quarter. And yeah, you know, it's interesting because I'm in a position, and I'm very fortunate to be in a position my wife and I are in. We're just having this discussion yesterday. Is we could sell both of our houses and go pay cash for a house and live mortgage free here in the Central Valley.
That's awesome.
And I was talking, I'm like, wait, we just kind of, the light bulb went on, like, is there other people in our situation? I'm assuming there is.
Right.
People that bought when we did, or even before, and have a lot of equity. Could they really be that? Okay, so I have a 2.25% rate, which I do, a VA loan. Could I take that, sell my house, and go pay cash and be mortgage free and not have a mortgage? Are there more people out there like that? And I'm thinking, we need to find these people. There has to be people out there that aren't thinking like that. Like, if I did sell my house or houses, could I just go buy another house right now?
Yeah.
And live mortgage free? Who cares about the rate? Right. You're paying cash.
And it's going to help the market too, right? You have a house for sale, right? Because I listen to, you know, a lot of, Logan stuff too, Motoshami.
It's good.
And we know that, a traditional seller is a traditional buyer. Right. And we need these houses to come. If foreclosures are not going to come out in the marketplace, and we need people to sell. Do you feel that getting the rate down to a 5.5% and later in the year is going to help, progress the housing market to have more sales out there?
I think it will. I think if that person that we're talking about earlier that has a high interest debt, and they're talking to a professional like us, and we're giving them options, do I refinance into this higher rate? Or do I say, wait, do I take all this equity, pay my debt off, and just go put another minimum down payment, take the 5.5, buy the rate down because I have cash now, maybe get closer to a 5 if I can, depending on the government loan and the day it is. Can I make that work?
Right.
Those are the options that we're going to give them, right? And that's where I think educating your guys in here, my guys at my office, that's how we do things. We need to give these people options. So maybe they stop looking at with the blinders on and say A, B, and C.
Right.
C looks really attractive. My payment's going to be this because I'm going to put this much down. I have no debt. Mm-hmm. So the payment isn't really going to pinch or hurt that much.
Right.
Different things that we're going to look at. I think that's where we're coming to.
See, and now I'm starting to see more options open up for clients, right? Like here before, maybe 2, 3, 4 months ago, the options were less because the rate was more. Right. But we're starting to see that rates are coming down and more options are opening up for people. Therefore, I think that the public has to understand that, things are getting better, and it's not going to be in a straight line. It's going to be in a jagged, line, but things are getting better.
Right.
So this opens up the question again, like, what does the market bring later in the year? If we do end up going into a recession, what do we know? We know rates come down during recessions, right? I mean, what recession have you been in that rates haven't come down at?
None.
Yeah.
Not one. And this is my 7th cycle.
Yeah, there you go.
None.
So now we start having to educate our clients and saying, hey, you know what? Through recession, there will be opportunity. There will be opportunity for people to purchase homes, to refinance homes, and the market starts, chugging along. And going back to the original thing that you said, I do believe that the housing market is going to take us out of recession, right? Because housing is the biggest driver of many things. You can't, if you don't have a house to live in, you can't be a trucker. Yeah. Everybody needs a place to live. Therefore, it drives the economy, and people will be able to move. Like we talked about this the other day, like people during, COVID were moving across the country. Well, now everybody's going back to work into the office. They're going to have to move closer to the company or get a new job.
Right. Make some decisions, some tough decisions, but smart decisions. I was talking to a first-time home buyer yesterday. I say, look, you're a first-time home buyer, love working with first-time home buyers. My biggest thing is to give you options. She's like, I love that. I just don't know what I'm doing. I need options. I go, I'm going to give them to you. But we need to figure out where your price point is. So this is what I need, A, B, C, and D. She'll send it over, and then we'll go over, and then we'll send her shopping. Yeah. So, when we used to do those pre-quals back in the day, remember 24 hours or 2 hours on a pre-rule?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, man, I've been kind of really taking like 48 hours on these things, really massaging it these days. Yeah. They're not moving through as fast anymore because they need options. People want options. There's so many programs again.
Right.
FHA just released a program through another investor, 600 FICO, 0 down.
Yeah.
FHA with a first and a second combo.
Here we go again. Yeah, no, I think that that's what it is, right? I think that that's what's going to separate the internet lenders from the local lender.
Right.
is the fact that you're coming in and you're getting options again. And, you know, you're sitting down with somebody that's going to be an advisor to you. It's not going to be, hey, you know what, I'm just going to do your mortgage. Because a lot of, 2020, 2021 was transactional, man. Like, it was moving so fast.
Rates were 2%. Payments were, everybody could afford a house at 2%. It's free money.
Right.
Hate to say it, it's free money.
Yeah.
Now the professionals are going to come out and do their job, and it's like, okay, A, B, C, D, what can I do?
What can I do?
What can you do with me? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, Al, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with collaborations. Just being around you for so many years, like I love to go over scenarios with you about what the housing market brings. But at a high level, give us your prediction for the end of the year, man. And I'll give you mine.
Okay. The Feds are going to meet in June. I think they definitely pause. I don't think they pivot in June. I think the pivot comes between July and September. I've been saying through July, September for a while. And then I think notoriously, every December, and I post it, you can go back to my Instagram, every December, rates come down. So I think rates come down in December. We're headed into 2024, an election year, and we'll see what that brings.
Yeah. So great insight. My insight into this is I feel that there's going to be opportunity in the summer months. I'm thinking here in the next couple months. Will rates come down back to a 4% rate? Probably not. But what I will say is that if we can get into the mid fives, it's going to let people in the summertime. Later in the year, I do feel that rates, will fluctuate down. And it's just like anything else, Al. Like you don't, shop for a mortgage and get that mortgage rate for that day. It takes time. So coming in and talking to somebody, being ready to pounce on a house, and then to lock on a dime, that right interest rate is where the general public needs to be.
Right.
But I do feel that there'll be opportunity in 2023. And as we head into a recession in 24, I do believe that things will get better. So that's my optimistic look into the market. Of course, we would love for anybody that, has a different view, comment, let us know. We would love to, go back and forth. This is just, two guys out here, doing this for 20 years. And our insight, but I'm sure that there's somebody out there that has some insight. We'd love to welcome it. Let us know.
Absolutely.
And lastly, Al, I just want to, I want to thank you, brother. I know that, you took time out of your business to come out here today and, to teach us some stuff. It means a lot to me. And this is part of the reason why I started this podcast. Number one, of course, I love business. It's not just the mortgage industry in itself, it's business. And I love educating people. And your insight truly helps me, and I'm sure it's going to help our viewers as well. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, that ATM. Thank you.